On this episode of Political Personalities with Skye, we are in downtown Manhattan in the Battery Park City Authority. How does 92 acres of a large public real estate entity come to fruition while taking environmental considerations into effect? Today, we'll go inside and speak with some leaders to find out how the city and state cooperate with public and private entities to get things done. Join me as I speak with B.J. Jones from the Battery Park City Authority, Doreen Harris from NYSERDA, and Lorna Stark with KPMG.
You know, the last building to be constructed here, didn't come online until I think around 2010 or so. So It really is still a very new neighborhood compared to other places.
I don't think people realize that, just in the scheme of things, and even the 92 acres, that sounds like a ton of property, but it's really just a fraction of Manhattan.
I'm B.J. Jones, President and CEO of the Battery Park City Authority. Battery Park City is a 92-acre neighborhood in Lower Manhattan along the Hudson River, and the authority has been charged for over 50 years now with the responsibility to develop and maintain this neighborhood, many times through public-private partnerships.
Most people living here would never remember what it was like before. I'm Lorna Stark, a partner at KPMG, and I've spent my entire career and my life living and working in New York State and New York City. And it's a pleasure to be here and talk about this great collaboration between the city and the state, and especially how that has come to fruition through not only the Battery Park City Authority, but also NYSERDA, both of which are great examples of how government has always been a leader and has a legacy of leadership when it comes to environmental, social, and governance issues, and especially environmental issues and sustainability. The 50 years of Battery Park City Authority are absolute evidence of that, and the support that they get from the state through NYSERDA and others, as well as the City of New York, have been very important to that. But government is not only about setting regulation and policy, it's about actually putting those things into action.
My name's Doreen Harris. I'm the President and CEO of the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, or NYSERDA. We're New York State's clean energy agency, and our job is to implement and achieve New York's ambitious climate law under Governor Hochul's leadership. So my job is both to plan and to implement projects and activities in fulfillment of our law that very much necessitates a partnership with the private sector, with the public sector, and the public at large.
In many ways, I see this, Battery Park City in the most general of senses as an example that really is being set not only across our state but beyond. When we think about the coastal communities, even in New York State, not just here but all the way up the Hudson River and out on Long Island, we think about not only the principles of resilience and in planning, but also the fact that we need to do things differently than we ever did. And a lot of these communities are those that are most affected by climate change. And I think also those that are usually historically been underserved. And in many ways, when we see these examples here, they can be applied across the state in a very efficient and I think fair manner.
And I think that kind of innovation can't happen without partners like NYSERDA, because this is an all hands on deck moment, whether it comes to infrastructure changes or technology changes or policy changes. And I know we at the authority have really benefited from NYSERDA for being a resource, not just as subject matter experts, but providing, incentive programs and, playbooks to help people figure out how to do this stuff. And so I think, partnerships are really important, within government, but also with the private sector too, because everybody has a part to play in this. Fighting climate change is a team effort, and there's a lot of stakeholders that need to be involved in order to make progress and have serious results. And I'm a big believer that local actions can have global impact, and that's why what is happening at the state level is so important, and also what is happening at the neighborhood level is really important. And what we've done at the Battery Park City Authority has absolutely depended on collaboration with stakeholders like NYSERDA, like the Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice, and a whole range of community leaders and elected officials, because we've got to make some tough decisions. We're going to have to make some changes, and so it's important for everybody to work together.
I think it's a lot about community engagement and educating people, whether it's new people or new companies that come to the neighborhood. How do they make connections with the organizations that exist here and participate in what's happening here?
Yeah, we're finally at a point where the public acknowledges climate change exists and has gotten to the point where the question becomes, to your point, what do we do about it? What steps can we tangibly take? And how, along the way, can my quality of life be improved? And I think that's the important part of the investments we're making across the state, which really have to do with the fact that indeed it creates a future where people's way of living is actually improved along the way. Look at the resilience that we now have here in Battery Park City, but look at the way in which people's homes and buildings are cleaner, healthier, more comfortable. Those are all important pieces of recognizing that climate action comes with very specific personal benefits as well.
So we in New York are uniquely situated in that we have a very ambitious climate law on a statewide level. We also have ambitious goals set by cities like New York City under Local Law 97 and beyond. And then we have a movement of the public looking to achieve these goals and beyond. And so when we think about this now, in the context of the federal government's support for similar initiatives, we have what I would say is the durability of our commitments and the investments needed to achieve them.
And going back to what you said earlier about originally this was more about economic development. And I think resiliency and the recognition of climate change and doing things about it, that actually also is economic development. Because without those changes, without those improvements and doing things differently, then you lose the economic benefit of having a community like this, or providing a better place for people to live and making them safer on the coastal areas, or giving them different opportunities to feel like they're actually part of what's happening. In our recent survey of the public, 70% of the respondents said that government should and is taking a leading role in environmental, social, and governance issues. On the flip side, only 35% though said that government was doing enough. So there is room for improvement, and we see that happening right here in Battery Park City and with NYSERDA.
I think it's incredibly important with all of the planning that's happening at the neighborhood level, the city level, the state level, to make clear what our collective priorities are, because there is a lot of work to do and a lot of people that need to work together to do it.
Thank you so much, Doreen, BJ, Lorna, for coming here together with us today to talk about rebuilding New York downtown, cooperating with the state, public-private partnerships, and the responsibility of the government and the flexibility of the government in making these things happen for the environment and for our future.